Hi, I'm Patty Blinderman. I'm an ADHD coach, and my passion is finding ways to support myself and others to thrive with their ADHD. If you would like more information, more support, I invite you to check out my membership community, ADHD-Friendly. Lots of details can be found at ADHDfriendly.com. In this week's episode, I'm going to be celebrating the release of my ebook, Create an ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual, now available for purchase. Fingers crossed when this comes out, it will be. I'm also going to share a quick tip to help you start a tool hygiene habit. And I'm going to dive into the topic, are you showering all wrong again? And I'll also highlight my book of the week, lots of fun stuff. So let's dive in for a little bit more ADHD friendly. All right, so let's start with my celebration. My ebook is now available for purchase. It is Create an ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual, a POM, and it has been a huge work in progress. It wasn't even on my list of things to complete last year, but it came about because I ran my Personal Owner's Manual group live again over the summer, added new material, restructured it, and it created all of this connection and awareness and passion that I just had to finally do it once I was immersed in all of the tools. So I did it, and the print on demand book will be available soon. So look for more information, but I'm just super excited to check the box on the ebook. It was super fun in many ways, but also a real learning curve and some challenges. I'll share more about that when hopefully next week I share a celebration about the physical book. I hope to have one to hold up and share with you guys. All right. So now what I purchased this week, I can share. I didn't purchase anything this week, so I'm going to scat right over that because I had a great, I just, stayed offline and didn't go into any physical stores except groceries. So that really seems to work best for me if I can just kind of keep myself out of those situations where I'm going to impulsively buy something. It just works a little bit more easily. All right, so my tip for this week is start a tool hygiene habit. So I read about this in Real Simple, and I wish Becca's not here today because we have snow in the Chicago area. So we changed our recording schedule so that impacted our ability to record together. So I'm solo right now, and I really was hoping that she could be here because I shared with her when we were talking about this in our pre-planning meeting that I finally got a new hairbrush. So this was my original, these are the exact same, and they're full of hair. So just, it is what it is. But they're both the same hairbrush, but this is the old one. This is the new one. I don't know if you can tell, maybe because this one's all, dark color, but all of the little beads on this guy had slowly been coming off. I've had this for years. And if you're listening to this, I bet you to check out my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly, for the visuals I'm holding up with my hairbrushes. So my version of cleaning out my hairbrush is this, which is one of the reasons why I left the hair in it. And even doing this with my hand hurts because it's so spiky without those little protective little beads at the top of each bristle. And so that's what I call cleaning out my hairbrush. According to the Real Simple article, once a week, we should be washing our brushes with water and gentle shampoo to clean off, and this is what they said is on there, dead skin cells, oil, and product residue, so it doesn't end up back on your hair. So I don't know about that. I have to be honest. I think, I've been doing nothing but cleaning out my hair for years and it's worked fine. But what I do want to be mindful of is noticing when these little beads fall off, because what I thought was happening was my brush was just pulling my hair out, and I was just, reluctant to fully brush it. And I've been wearing my hair up because if I have a turtleneck or anything, I always call it a rat's nest in the back. So when I wear anything that's kind of higher up with a collar, I always pull my hair up so I have less of a problem to brush it out after at the end of the day. I got this over the weekend. It is like brushing my hair with a cloud. This happened so slowly, I did not notice how much it hurt to brush my hair. I just thought it was normal because again, we're not always aware of, especially slow changes over time, until I had the shocking revelation of just how lovely it was to brush my hair with this new brush. So I take it back. I did buy this brush, but I considered it a need. It was under $9, got it on Amazon, and it's just a wet brush, like WET is the brand. And I loved it because clearly, I used it until it was not even functional anymore. And so I replaced it with a fun and sparkly color. And they have lots of colors to choose from, lots of swirly rainbow, lots of different options, all the same price from what I could see. But the other thing that they shared besides your tool brush was to clean your other hair care products like your blow dryer and your curling iron. So that got me thinking. So I brought my blow dryer down here, and it's in rough shape. I tried to clean it off about a month ago because it's all sticky. Up here, I've had this guy for years also. I love it. It is, I don't even know what brand this is. Bar? I don't know, but I have to say it is like my favorite hair dryer I've ever owned. It's super powerful. It doesn't take me about 10 seconds to blow dry my bangs, which is really all I blow dry. But all of the coloring has been coming off because I tried to clean it because I had such product residue. So according to the Real Simple article, it says to use an alcohol wipe when it's unplugged and cool. So if you're doing this to like a straight iron or a curling iron, especially, make sure it's cool, but always make sure that your product is unplugged before doing this. So I have these little alcohol wipes that I thought, well, I didn't use alcohol to clean it. And I was curious live if it would work any better. And so this is what happened. And I don't know if it's because my product is on there and now I'm getting it all over me, but look, it takes the paint right off. So I can't say I recommend it. I don't know if it's because there's product on there. So now I have alcohol all over my hands or not alcohol. I have like the red from my curling iron. So at this point, I think I'd like my curling iron better if it didn't have any of the red coloring, because at least it would just be all clean. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just what I'm going to have to do, because it even has like mucked up, dried on hair on here that is really kind of gross. But because I use it all the time, I just don't notice it until it had me kind of focusing on it. So it's a mess. It's gross. Yeah, it's just taking the paint right off. So I don't think you'd want that on your but it could be because I have so much product on there that it's worn the paint down. I'm not sure. So because I was afraid that might happen, I bought my Chi, which is my other hair product. It's also red. So we'll see if it takes off the paint on this. This will be my little experiment live. We'll see what happens before you try it on your product. So I'm going to hold it up closed. You can see I have a little residue, and it's just a little dingy. So I'm going to take this and see. It has a little bit of hairspray. I can see that's kind of hard congealed on it. This doesn't seem to be taking off the paint. No paint there. So it is honoring the color, holding it intact, and just removing the buildup. So I would say try it in a little spot. I just don't know how people with ADHD do that. I know I never do that. They're like, test it in a small area, small and conspicuous. I go right for the center, the most obvious place I could never hide. But this guy is clean, and that worked like a dream, and it did not take off the paint. It just took off the buildup. So sparkly. Yeah. So, all right. I would say it depends on the product and how much buildup there is on there. So try it in a conspicuous spot, but Real Simple recommends doing that once a month for curling irons, hair dryers. And maybe if I'd been doing that once a month all along, my beautiful hair dryer that works so lovely would still look lovely. Things that I don't know I'm supposed to be doing that I just have to laugh, because I used to get really embarrassed and feel shameful that, oh my gosh, how could I not have known that that was something I was supposed to be doing? But now I share it again, just in case you weren't aware, you hadn't heard of this, that's a thing that you could do. When I mentioned this to Becca, she said, like even like cleaning it in the shower, really, really simple. And I was like, that's interesting, that, kind of like brushing your teeth in the shower. If you're doing it, you could just, once a week, rinse it out. I'm worried about water getting into it. So I don't think I'll be soaking it, but something that you can consider for yourself if that feels like something you would need to do. And then I always ask, if you would like to try this, how will you remember? What prompt will you need to support you to follow through with your plan? Okay, on to our topic for this week, which is also tied to cleaning, but it's tied to showering. So the way back in episode 146, I shared shower hygiene tips. And it was really to help us realize, what if we're showering wrong? What if we're going about it in a way that isn't really the best approach to getting what we're looking for from a shower, which is typically to get ourselves clean. So again, if this was in a recent Real Simple magazine article, they had science-backed tips guaranteed to give you softer skin, healthier hair, and a smarter clean. I didn't know what that was. I was curious. So I read it, and I'm sharing some of the tips they shared in case, again, it's something that would create, I always look for the sparkle in what I'm learning. So for me, it was a way to make showering sparkly again, to see, oh, what if I change up my routine a little bit? So they said that 3 is the minimum number of times to shower each week, and 7 is the max for most people. So they talked about overwashing, how it strips the skin of ceramides, which basically means that it leads to dry skin and itchiness. And especially in the winter months, we really don't want to dry out our skin. So they said, really the rule of thumb is shower if you think you're starting to smell. That works if you're not nose blind. A lot of us with ADHD just get used to whatever our normal is. So I like the rule of thumb of pretty much every other day is, regardless of how you smell, kind of get you to that 3 a week for the most part. And then more frequently, if you are exercising, sweating, doing things that would really necessitate perhaps daily showering. Number 2, this was a game changer for me. I have been doing this since I read it. So they said conditioner works instantly. Leaving it on any longer than after you just put it in your hair and rinse it out does no different. It doesn't do any more. It doesn't work better. I have now tried this, and I feel like I wasted so much time leaving it in and trying to remember to wash it out. That was always the hardest thing for me, was I got into a routine of, okay, now I'm going to shave my legs while the conditioner is going to work for, 60 seconds or whatever it is. And there were many times I get out of the shower and I realized it was still in my hair, the conditioner, because I forgot. I got distracted and I just totally forgot. So it just feels so much more friendly to me to put the conditioner in and immediately rinse it out, just like I do shampoo. And I have not noticed any difference whatsoever in the immediate rinse out versus leaving it, kind of really soak in there. So I love that tip. And that makes me very happy because it's a time saver and it's a working memory saver. I don't have to hold it in mind to remember to rinse out the conditioner. Number 3, cleansers. So most dermatologists suggest looking for a hypoallergenic and a fragrance-free cleanser so that you're avoiding things that might be strong scent-wise and could be harsh on your skin. And they also said that antibacterial body washes should be avoided, that they can be harsher on the skin and cause dryness and irritation. So that's what they recommended with cleansers. And now how frequently to wash your hair. So the showering was 3 times a week, minimum 7 times a week, maximum. Washing your hair, they said, only when it's greasy, so you don't strip out the natural oils. That's, I think, a very individual thing. And I know we can, and this was the part I was hoping Becca would be here to add her expertise to, but being able to kind of stretch it out over time, your hair will get used to how frequently you're washing it. I know I have now stretched mine. I can go almost 3 days before it's really where I absolutely feel like I need to wash it. But in the article, Dr. Michelle Henry, MD, says that fine hair types can go 2 to 3 days between washes, and tightly coiled types that tend to be drier naturally can go up to 7 days to help reduce the breakage of the hair. I don't have fine or thin hair. I have very thick hair, and I have to say, I could not go 7 days, but Becca told me that she can, and her hair is very similar to mine, but that it took her a long time to work up to that. So it might be, maybe a little dry shampoo in between. I hate washing my hair. It is the most time consuming part of showering for me. So I love the idea of trying to stretch it out. I've been every other day for years and years, and I've just worked over this winter actually to get it to every third day. And so far that is surprisingly easy. So I'm really happy about that. But, it just might be something for you just to experiment with or keep in mind, depending on how frequently you're washing your hair now. Number 5, limit your shower to 10 minutes. So the American Academy of Dermatology says standing in a shower for more than 10 minutes can compromise your skin's ability to serve as a barrier. So the rule of thumb is get out, in and out in 10 minutes, or before your fingers look, kind of pruny, when they're just starting to have that look where you're just been saturated. Number 6, this is the step-by-step shower process. Again, I shared this in episode 46, but I love the whole reminder. It's like a top-down thing. So they said, number 1, brush your hair before showering. I always do that. If you're not washing your hair, put on a shower cap to keep it from getting all damp and tangled. And there's less damage brushing your hair when it's dry than when it's wet. Although I have to say, my wet hairbrush, I do enjoy a lot if I am brushing my hair when it's wet. And I have to dry my bangs. They recommend when you do wash your hair that you wet it thoroughly first, and then you pour shampoo into your palm. Here's the size of the shampoo that they recommend. If you have short hair, a dime size. If you have medium length hair, a nickel size. And if you have long hair, a $50 size. Why it goes from a nickel to a $50 and not a quarter, I don't know. But that's what they recommended. And they also recommended a sulfate-free shampoo as being best for if you dye your hair, if you have really tight coily hair or frizzy hair. And then they said massage it into your scalp, rinse it, and then add a dime size amount to work through the hair again. Rinse. So they do recommend the wash, rinse, and then repeat, which I've read other places you don't need to do that. So again, I think that's something to try and notice what works for you. And then they recommend if you're conditioning, add a dollop of conditioner, the same amount as you did for the shampoo, whether it be a dime, nickel, or $50 size, to the bottom third of your hair only. So just to the bottom, not along the scalp. So you're not introducing that conditioner there, which can make it kind of heavy and feel like it's holding on to some, for me, it always just still feels dirty if I put it up there. So just on the bottom 2/3 and rinse right away. You don't need to let it sit. Number 3, wash your body with your hands is what they recommend, not a washcloth. Although they said a washcloth is the next best thing to your hands, but anything more than that is really rough and not recommended, which I found interesting. They said to start with your neck, go down to your toes. They said, don't skip your armpits, your private areas, external only. They were very specific. And they said, don't skip your legs, which I found interesting. They even had a thing where they highlighted that it's a myth. You don't need to wash your legs. And I didn't realize that skipping your legs was commonly done. So I don't know if it's because I'm a woman and I've always shaved my legs. That's just part of what I've always watched. Maybe men skip their legs. I don't know, but I found that comment interesting. So I'm sharing it. And your feet, finally, feet at the end. And then after you do all of that is when they recommend shaving if you are shaving. So they say lather, shave, and rinse when done. And then 5th is to recommend washing your face. So after all of that, wash your face. I tend to wash my hair, rinse my hair, condition my hair, rinse my hair, and then I wash my face, rinse my face before I move on to the rest of my body. But they recommend doing it after your body and after shaving. Again, if that works for you, that's the step that they put it in. And then finally, they say towel off. Blot, don't rub. And they said for your hair, twist it or blot it with a microfiber towel. But don't rub, because again, you could be pulling hair out and breaking it, and you want to be gentle on it. And then finally, moisturize while your skin is still damp. I do that because I do notice a difference in how well it absorbs. And as I'm saying this, I have hair all over me. I don't know if you can see it in the video. I just am shedding like my dogs do. All right, I'm gonna let this one go because I can't seem to get it. It's like, oh, there it is. Win. Okay, now for my book of the week. So this is a book that is coming out May 20th. I got an advanced copy from NetGalley, netgalley.com. Thank you so much. I just was so excited to read this. It's called The Love Haters. It's by Catherine Center, who I just love the way that she writes. I think I discovered her 2 years ago, and some of my favorite romance books are by her. So I was so excited to get this and just flew through it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. You can pre-order it on Amazon if this is your kind of book or you're already a Catherine Center fan. So the description I'll share is Katie Vaughn has been burned by love in the past, and now she may be lighting her career on fire. She has 2 choices: wait to get laid off from her job as a video producer, or at her coworker Cole's request, she can take a career-making gig profiling Tom Hutcherson, who is a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in Key West. The catch? Katie's not exactly qualified because she can't swim, but she pretends that she can. And guess who's gonna teach her? It was really fun, very sweet, really enjoyed it. So The Love Haters by Catherine Center, if that's your kind of book. Now for my quote of the week. It's another one from James Clear. Oh, he always just has such great sage advice. James this time says, the quality of my life is significantly higher on days that I publish an article. The creative process and well-being go hand in hand. I love that. It's the idea that resonates with me is if you're feeling kind of stuck or stagnant or anything that isn't serving you, get into motion, get into action, do something. Something is always more than nothing. And that's where we're also all about at ADHD-Friendly. The membership community is all about taking what you intend to do and implementing it. So you're checking it off and moving on. Check it out at ADHD-Friendly.com. That's it for this week. Until next time, tally ho.